I spent much of my childhood and adolescence as an introverted person. I was shy, awkward, and unable to form meaningful friendships. I didn't have that natural ease when it came to social interactions. And for a long time, I felt isolated. It wasn't until later that I became truly interested in the concept of social skills and how they could be developed. I started reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, How to Talk to Anyone by Leah Lowndes, and I spent hours watching videos online, all aimed at helping me improve my social interactions. But do you know what happened after all that effort? Nothing. Despite all that information and advice, nothing seemed to work. I kept trying, but I wasn't seeing results. I couldn't understand why it wasn't working. Why didn't these methods help me connect with others? It wasn't until I began studying psychology and specializing in human behavior that I finally had an aha moment. Everything I had been taught about social skills, everything I had read or heard, was often incomplete, oversimplified, and, in many cases, downright misleading. I realized that the typical advice we're given about social skills, like maintaining perfect eye contact or always remembering people's names, was not the answer. These are just superficial techniques that don't get to the heart of the issue. The real problem wasn't that I didn't know how to engage in conversation or use certain techniques effectively. The real issue lay much deeper in my personality and how I behaved in social settings. I came to understand that charisma, being someone people want to be around, is actually a lot easier than we often think. Charisma isn't about performing or pretending to be something you're not. Instead, it's about being genuine, being present, and knowing how to make others feel good in your presence. If you're someone who struggles with social interactions, I promise you that if you stick with me through this video and apply what I'm going to share with you, you'll find that people naturally start to gravitate toward you. They'll want to be around you. So, welcome to the second episode of this social skills series, where we'll focus on one of the most important traits in any social interaction: charisma. Charisma is often seen as a mysterious quality that only a few people are born with. But that's simply not true. Charisma is made up of three essential elements: presence, warmth, and power. We're going to take a deep dive into each of these. But remember, these elements need to work together. If one is missing or imbalanced, things won't work as they should. Let's start with the first and most important element: presence. Presence is something that most people overlook, but it's absolutely crucial. In fact, it's the foundation of charisma. Let me tell you a story from 1886 in the UK that illustrates the power of presence. Two candidates were running for an important election. As the campaign neared its end, a journalist was asked for her opinion on both candidates. She said, "The first candidate makes me feel like he's the strongest person in the UK, and the second makes me feel like I'm the strongest person in the UK." Guess who won the election? It wasn't the person who tried to show his own strength. It was the one who made the others feel strong. This story brings us to the first rule of charisma. You don't need to prove your own strength to be charismatic. In fact, the most charismatic people are those who make others feel strong and powerful. And how do you do that? By being fully present. When you're interacting with someone, it's not about showing off your own qualities or trying to outshine them. It's about making the other person feel seen, heard, and valued. This is what presence is all about. Being present means giving your full attention to the person you're talking to. You're not thinking about what you're going to say next or trying to figure out how to impress them. No, you're focused entirely on them and on what they are saying. This may sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. So many people, when they talk to someone, are already thinking about their response instead of listening to the other person. They're busy formulating their next words while the other person is still speaking. This is a huge mistake because it makes you seem distracted and disengaged. The key to effective communication and building rapport with others is to genuinely listen. And here's the trick. When someone is talking to you, don't think about your next move. Don't think about how to appear interested. Just listen. Be completely engaged in their words and give them your undivided attention. When you focus on what they're saying instead of worrying about your response, you will naturally come across as more authentic, and people will feel more connected to you. Now, you might wonder, how will they know that I'm really listening? The answer is simple. They'll feel it. When you're truly present with someone, they can sense it. People are very perceptive when it comes to social cues. They'll pick up on your body language, your eye contact, and the way you respond in the conversation. If you're truly listening, they'll feel heard and valued. And that's where warmth comes in, which we'll talk about in the next part of this video. But for now, I want to emphasize this point. When you're talking to someone, just listen. Don't worry about your next words or about impressing them with your knowledge. Focus entirely on them. This sounds simple, but believe me, it's rare. Most people are so caught up in their own thoughts that they forget the power of just listening. If you can master this, you'll already be on your way to becoming someone people are drawn to. By giving someone your full attention, you're not just hearing their words, you're showing them that they matter. And that, in turn, makes you more charismatic, more likable, and more influential. So next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember, stop thinking about what you're going to say next. Instead, focus on being present with the person in front of you and watch how your social interactions transform. And that's why, when you're sitting among a group of people and someone starts speaking, there's a strong possibility that none of the others in the group are actually listening. People might be looking at the speaker, but most of them are just waiting for their turn to talk, thinking about what they're going to say next, or distracted by their own thoughts. If you, however, are the one who listens attentively, this will create an immediate connection between you and the speaker. They'll feel seen and understood. And before long, they'll be talking to you more than anyone else in the group. Without even realizing it, you'll notice that everyone around you seems to want to talk to you. Everyone will want to listen to you. Why? Because when you truly listen to someone, you give them something of great value, your attention. And value is one of the most important things people are always looking for in any interaction. They want to feel important, heard, and understood. And when you listen, you provide that sense of importance. This was the first aspect of presence, giving someone your full attention and making them feel valued. Now, let's move on to the second crucial element of presence, being comfortable. This is something so simple, yet so powerful. And it's something you must remember and practice every single day of your life. Whether you're sitting with a group of people, alone in a cafe, or having a conversation with someone, you need to feel at ease. Your body language should reflect comfort and relaxation. Everything about you, your posture, your facial expressions, your movements should convey that you're comfortable and at ease in the situation. It's important to realize that the people around you can unconsciously pick up on whether or not you're comfortable. If you're uneasy, anxious, or fidgety, it sends a message to others that you don't want to be there. It creates a barrier. On the other hand, when you're truly comfortable, it encourages others to feel relaxed around you as well. The key is to be spontaneous and genuine. You don't need to force yourself to follow social conventions about how to sit or behave. Forget about worrying whether your posture is perfect or if you're doing everything correctly. What matters is that you feel at ease in your own skin. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're sitting and suddenly feel the urge to sneeze. If you're self-conscious about it, you might try to suppress it, thinking, I don't want to make a scene, or I hope no one hears me. But if you're truly comfortable, you'll just sneeze without a second thought, no matter who's around you. It could be your boss, a stranger, or even someone you admire. But if you're truly at ease, you'll sneeze freely without hesitation. And guess what? No one will mind. And even if they do, it doesn't matter. You've done nothing wrong. This is charisma. Being comfortable enough with yourself to do what you want without worrying about how others will perceive you. People will respect you for it, and they'll feel more at ease around you too. When you're comfortable, you create a sense of ease for everyone around you. Think about the way you behave when you're with close family, like your brother or mother. You're relaxed, spontaneous, and unconcerned. You can sneeze, laugh loudly, or even make silly comments, and it's no big deal. Now, imagine carrying that same level of comfort into all your interactions with friends, colleagues, or acquaintances. When you allow yourself to be natural and at ease, the people around you will start to feel the same way. They'll begin to feel comfortable with you, which in turn makes them want to be around you more. Comfort isn't just about feeling at ease. It's about giving others permission to feel comfortable as well. You don't have to follow strict social norms to prove anything to anyone. Just be yourself and let others see that it's okay for them to do the same. If you want to sneeze, sneeze. If you want to laugh loudly, laugh without holding back. Want to say something? Say it. As long as you're not harming anyone, be as spontaneous and natural as you can be. That's the essence of presence. Relaxing to make others feel relaxed, and truly listening to others when they speak. When you do this, you'll naturally draw people toward you, and they'll feel a deeper connection to you than they do with others. Now, let's move on to the second essential element of charisma, warmth. Warmth is all about kindness, gentleness, affection, and love. Listen carefully because this is an important point. Being kind and compassionate doesn't mean you're constantly praising others or doing whatever they ask of you just to gain their approval. Why? Because if you're being nice solely for the purpose of being liked or appearing charismatic, that's called hypocrisy. People can sense when kindness is forced, and they don't respond well to it. A person who is nice in a way that feels insincere or calculated will often seem disingenuous. And that's why it's easy to dislike someone who's too nice. They aren't being natural. They're trying too hard to impress or fit into an image. So how can you apply the second element of charisma, warmth, in a genuine way? First, you need to understand something crucial about human communication. We don't communicate through words alone. In fact, only about 7% of communication comes from the words we say. A whopping 93% comes from body language, feelings, and emotions. Think about this one day. You might be talking to someone who's speaking calmly and sitting comfortably. On the surface, everything seems fine, but despite all of this, you feel disconnected. You didn't quite feel the person. You can't put your finger on it, but something felt off. The reason for this is that the person's emotions and feelings didn't align with their words or actions. For example, let's say you don't particularly like doctors. One day, you have a conversation with a doctor, and even though you're trying to be polite and speak normally, your subconscious energy will communicate your discomfort. You might not say it, but your body language, tone, and subtle cues give off a message that you're not open to the interaction. Even if the doctor doesn't consciously recognize this, they'll feel it. They might leave the conversation saying, "I didn't like that person," and they won't know exactly why. It's because your emotions were out of alignment with your words and actions. Your feelings impact how others perceive you, and they can either draw people closer to you or push them away. When you interact with someone, always assume the best about them. See their good qualities and approach them with an open, positive mindset. Now, this doesn't mean you should be naive or trust someone blindly, especially if you know they have negative traits. But when you meet someone new or interact with a friend, try to focus on their positive aspects. Feel genuine admiration for the person. When you do this, you'll be surprised at how much more connected you feel with them. This inner feeling of warmth and openness will radiate from you without you even realizing it. It will make the other person feel special, and they will also open up to you in return. As humans, we share feelings, and when you're comfortable and kind in your interactions, the other person will feel at ease. If you're tense or angry, they will feel that as well, and it will create distance. The key is to always look at others as good people, but remember to keep your boundaries intact. It's about being open and positive, without being overly trusting or naive. That was the first point of warmth, cultivating an inner sense of admiration and positivity toward others. Now, let's talk about the second aspect, the power of giving. One of the best ways to add value to someone's life is by sharing useful advice or information. But here's the important part: you should give, but not impose. For example, imagine you're hanging out with friends, and one of them casually says, "I want to rent a house," with no further details. You happen to know a great website for house rentals. What do? Don't stay silent, but don't overdo it either. Share the information with them. Tell them about the website, but don't turn it into a full-blown project where you end up obsessively guiding them through the website, showing them listings, and constantly following up. If they ask for more details, then go ahead and help them out, but don't go beyond what they've asked. Give the advice and leave it at that. If they want to pursue it further, they'll reach out to you. The key here is to give without expecting anything in return, and without pushing your advice onto someone who didn't ask for it. You're offering a valuable resource, but you're not imposing your will or trying to control the situation. Giving is a beautiful act, but it has to be done in the right way. Giving advice, sharing knowledge, or offering support are all great ways to show warmth, but they should always come from a place of generosity, not as a means to manipulate or impress. So, to summarize the second element of charisma, warmth is about kindness and compassion, but it's about being genuine. It's about connecting with people emotionally, making them feel comfortable, and offering them something of value without expecting anything in return. When you do this, people will naturally gravitate toward you because they'll feel safe, respected, and valued in your presence. The third aspect of warmth is acceptance, understanding, and honesty. But it's crucial to apply these qualities in a positive way. Let's say you're talking to someone and they share their interest, saying, "I like football. Do you like it?" Now, suppose you don't care for football. Instead of saying, "I like football, too," just to agree with them and appear agreeable. Don't do that. If you lie or pretend to like something just to fit in, eventually the person will discover the truth. This will cause them to lose respect for you, and you'll also come across as uninteresting. So, what should you do? Be honest and direct, but in a considerate way. In this case, simply say, "No, I don't like football," and leave it at that. But here's where the element of warmth comes into play: acceptance. Even though you don't enjoy football, you can accept that the other person does. You don't need to start criticizing football or belittling their interests by saying things like, "Football is boring," or "It's a waste of time." That's not helpful and certainly not charismatic. Instead, you accept the person's preference and express your own feelings honestly. Remember that honesty doesn't have to mean being brutally blunt. It's about being respectful. If you don't like something, say so in a kind way. If you disagree with something, express it in a way that doesn't dismiss the other person's opinion. For example, if your friend wears something you don't particularly like, you can say, "I didn't really like that shirt. It didn't suit you." But make sure your tone is respectful and that your comment is delivered with care. When it comes to sharing advice or opinions, avoid pushing them too hard. This isn't about being confrontational. It's about expressing yourself honestly, while maintaining respect and understanding for the other person. So, to summarize, true warmth combines acceptance, understanding, and honesty. You can be honest without being harsh. And you can accept someone's differences without pretending to agree with them. These qualities will help you build genuine connections with people and show them that you value their individuality, even if you don't always share the same opinions or preferences. This is what real kindness looks like, and it's a key component of charisma. Now, while presence and warmth are crucial for charisma, they are incomplete without the third element, power. Power is about inner strength, confidence, and having a strong personality. I saved this point for last because it requires deeper exploration, and a full discussion could be its own video. But here are a few key ideas to get you started. First, avoid talking too much about yourself. Constantly seeking others' approval or trying to make yourself the center of attention will only drain your charisma. I covered this idea in more detail in the previous episode of this series, so make sure to go back and watch it for a more in-depth explanation. Second, don't be afraid to confront people and stand up for your principles. Your beliefs and values are personal to you, and you should stand firm in them. For example, if you don't drink alcohol, don't feel pressure to do so when you're with friends who are drinking. If they offer you a drink, simply say, "No, thank you," and leave it at that. There's no need for a long explanation. Just assert your position calmly and confidently. The same applies to other matters where you have strong boundaries. There are certain things in life that are non-negotiable, and if someone tries to push those limits, it's essential to stop them, whether it's a moral boundary, personal space, or anything else. Don't let others cross the line. And when it comes to standing up for yourself in everyday situations, like at a restaurant, don't be afraid to speak up if something isn't right. For example, if you find a hair in your food, don't hesitate to bring it up to the staff. Speak up confidently, and you won't have to pay for that meal. This is about not being afraid to assert your rights and standing up for what you believe in, without being rude or disrespectful. So, power and charisma isn't about dominating or controlling others. It's about having self-confidence, standing firm in your values, and not being afraid to assert yourself when necessary. When you combine presence, warmth, and power, you become a truly charismatic person that others are naturally drawn to. Our third point is about strong body language. Body language plays a vital role in how we are perceived and also has a direct impact on how we feel about ourselves. When you feel mentally and emotionally strong, that confidence naturally reflects in your body language. Conversely, if you don't feel confident, adopting strong body language can help influence your mental state and shift your inner mindset. I'm not here to tell you to stand a certain way, open your hands, or lift your leg in a specific manner. Instead, what I want you to focus on is comfort. Remember what I said earlier? Be comfortable and let go of any unnecessary worry. When you're at ease, allow your body to move freely. Let your hands and legs move naturally. This relaxed approach will positively affect your psyche and help you feel strong. Imagine you're the strongest person in the room. How would you behave? You would sit confidently and comfortably, taking your place without hesitation. This is the kind of body language you should aim for, one that reflects your inner strength and helps you feel grounded. You don't need to overthink your posture. Just relax and embrace your space. By doing so, you will feel a sense of strength from within that will enhance how others perceive you. One more thing, make sure to watch the self-confidence video I created in this series. This series on social skills is interconnected, and understanding self-confidence will be crucial to building your overall charisma. Each episode builds upon the other and offers valuable insights that will change how you think about yourself and interact with others. And that wraps up this video. Remember, the benefits of charisma go beyond just getting people to like you. Charisma can help you in many areas of your life. It improves your work efficiency, advances your career, and supports your personal growth. So, keep these principles in mind and know that charisma is a tool for your success, not just for making others like you. Take care of yourself, and don't forget to be the best version of yourself, inside and out.